Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and we are back with the Apple IIe again and its problematic disk drives. The reason I'm making this video, I've just had a little parcel arrive today, and it was the replacement for these, the SN 74 LS125s. 74 LS125s, that's a DM version, but same thing. They're the old ones that are dead. I got two nice shiny new ones arrive in the mail today, only cost a couple of quid. I've installed them, and yeah, I've got another problem. The Apple's died again. I've put them in, I fired it up to do a test, and the Apple, I'll just show you actually, the Apple was, switch it off, just tilt up so we can see my monitor. Can you see my monitor there? Let's see, just about. It's just the way I've got my, my tripod and everything here, it doesn't make it, hang on, let's see, there we go, you can see my monitor now. Anyway, I'll switch the Apple on. It does the normal Apple II. Spins the disc like it was before. That's just in a blank old DOS disc I've just been using to test the drives. So it obviously wouldn't try and boot from that. But if I do control reset, as I was going to try and load ADT Pro back up so I could try and use these drives. That will recognise the drives and I should be able to format a disk with it. But I'm back to this situation. If I try and type anything on the Mac, let's try, so not the Mac, the Apple, God. Let's try this. It's Carl, and it's doing this again. Carl -151, which is the first call you do when you're loading ADT Pro, and look what it's done on the screen again. Enter syntax. Now if I press control the two Apple keys and reset to get into the unbuilt diags, it tells me straight away ROM E10. So it looks like we've got a ROM error on the Apple II. I will have another go at burning a new ROM for it. I did try burning when I was messing about with the old ones, but I don't think they've written, but I can't seem to get them to work in the Apple IIe. I don't know whether it's directly compatible with a 2764 ROM actually, EEPROM actually. I'm going to have to look out into that and see whether you can just use it as a direct replacement, or if you have to switch any tracks on the IC to get a ROM to replace the sorry, an EEPROM to replace the original ROM. But yeah, that's basically where I'm up to now. Bit disappointing, but that's what you get with these old computers, isn't it? You know, you fix one thing and something else goes wrong with them. So until I get the ROM issue fixed, I can't see whether I've actually fixed the drive issues, because I can't load ADT Pro and see whether I can format a disk. I don't want to be sticking the original Apple discs that I've got in these drives at the moment, because I have read that some of the faults that these can suffer from when one of these ICs has failed, if you put a good disc in the drive, it will actually wipe the first sector off the disc. And seeing a couple of them discs, I really want to see whether they still work. I don't want to risk putting them in these drives and risk damaging them. So I'm going to definitely try. I mean, I might have already wrecked the Apple Welcomes Apple disc by doing that. But what I want to try and do is format some discs using ADT Pro. Then I can transfer Pro DOS or something like that, Apple DOS 3.3 onto one of them discs. Boot from that. If I can get that to boot, then I can start playing with my other discs. As of the disk drives, I've done a bit of work on these. I'm going to actually include in a minute, I'll try and edit me doing some repair work on these drives into the end of this video. I don't know if you can see this, but hang on, let me see if I can just move the camera back down. Oop. Right. I don't know if you can see this, but in these drives there's a plastic wheel there. It's what the stepper drives to drive the head backwards and forwards, and all that mechanism was gummed up on both these drives, one a lot worse than the other. So I've done a quick bit of filming showing how I stripped the drive down and I rectified that, so I'll cut to that now and let you have a look at that. Not exactly officially, but things were a bit different when I was at school. I bunged him a tenner and he dropped them off at my house. But yeah, that's basically how I got them, and in that kind, they've obviously been used in an industrial environment, and I think whatever nasty chemicals and whatever are in the air in a cigarette factory have probably got to this one, because it's got quite a lot of actual corrosion and all sorts. And I know this has come from where I've had it, because they've both been kept together and the other one's squeaky clean. So I wonder if this was used actually on the shop floor or something. But anyway, I digress. Clearly the problem is that the head just won't, even if I try and pull it along, it just will not move along that shaft. It's stuck solid. So what I think I'm going to have to do is take the head assembly out, take these rods out and clean them, and then reassemble it all. I'm probably going to have a look at realigning the drive after I've done this. There's no way it's going to read discs as it is with me just putting it back together. I can't think. There are alignment procedures for these things on the web, so it shouldn't be too much of a hassle. But I think that's really my only course of action here. So I didn't want to take the drive this far apart, but I think it's a case of nothing to lose now. So let's whip this off. Now we can see there's a lot of corrosion on them bars. No wonder they're not moving. So I think our only course of action here now, yeah, you can see where that's meant to run along, and it's just stuck solid. This is a point of no return, I think. There we go, that's turning. Yeah. So this isn't, I've never taken a drive this far apart before. I don't know if this is going to work, where I'm going to end up with a working drive after it, but oh, that's tight. There's one thing for certain, is I've not got a working drive now, not with the heads not being able to move anyway. So we're not going to lose out on anything by doing this. And it's a learning curve, and that's what I enjoy. So, right, there we go. Take that out there. And then let's remove these bars. Yeah, that's absolutely filthy. It's actually rusty. You can see the rust spots on it. And let's take out the next one. This should just lift away. Yes, it does. Right now, yeah, that is actually stuck. It turns, but dear me, I am actually having to use all my force to try and turn that. That is really, really stuck in there. So, there, it's free enough now. Don't put too much force and risk damaging anything. Got it. Wow, that was really, really stuck in there. I'm super, super careful with this piece now. Right. put that to one side for a second. Now let's have a look at these bars. Now I wonder what the best way to clean that up is. I get a piece of very fine emery cloth. Yeah, I've got an idea here. I've got a tiny little piece there of very fine emery. It's very, very fine. Wet and dry this. I'm going to put a tiny bit of oil on it, like that. And then let's get that on there. We can. That's it. That's getting rid of it. I can actually feel how rough that is. That's smoothing up now. The coarseness as I run it through my fingers there is going. Let's spin it round so it does the other side. There we are. That's better. That feels better already. Alright, let's try the other one. You can still see some corrosion on it, but it's about 1,000 times better that. Let's have a go with the other one. Yeah, I can feel that's getting better already. Yeah, there we go. That's got all the corrosion off them. You can still see a little bit, but I don't think there's a lot we can do about that. Then what I will do, I get one of my cotton buds and a little tiny bit of isopropyl on it. I'll take the heads and I'm just going to clean in where it runs, just in case there's any. Yeah, there's a little bit of muck and rubbish in there. Let's get rid of that. It's going to help it move into it. Right, there we go. That's gone. And while we've got this out, I don't think the isopropyl's going to make any harm here. Let's give this a quick. Just a quick wipe over. I'm not trying to make this perfect or anything. It doesn't have to be. Get rid of some of the worst of the dirt off it. Okay, that'll do. Now let's see if we can put this thing back together and see whether we get a bit more free movement on it. So we take this and we take the two rods. Oh, look at that. Look at that now. That's better. Try the other one in there. Yeah, that feels a lot better. Yeah, still a bit of friction on there. But what I will do, I think I'll put a tiny bit of oil in them two holes just to give it a little bit of lubrication. Let's get a clean cotton bud. We'll just put a little bit of oil on the end. This is just light machine oil. I'm sure the experts would say you can't use that on disk drives, but I'm using what I've got. Like I said, I'm just see whether this is going to work. Oops, let's not get that caught. Oh, let's put a little bit of that oil in there. We'll put a little bit of oil in there just to help let it move. Now, let's put the rod back in. Oh, that's better. That moves really freely now. Okay, now let's take the other rod, put that in. Let's see if we can get this thing to, to line back up and sit back where it should go. Now, that needs to go in that. Okay, I think this is going to be a bit of trial and error to get this to actually. There we are, that should be where it should be, I think. Let's put this back in there. I don't know how critical where these poles are meant to line up is, so I always get a micrometer out if I had to. I don't think it's that critical because all they do is hold it. Let's have a go here now. Come on, behave, screw. There we go. Get that in the hole. There we are. I don't know whether these are meant to have any specific torque or not, but like I said, I'm just attempting here. I don't know whether this is going to work or not. Put these back on. Pick that little bit of stuff up. We don't want that going in the drive, do we? And on to the next one. Let's screw that down as well. Okay. Let's get rid of that little bit of varnish. We don't want that breaking off and going in the drive. There we are. Should have really cleaned that off, but okay, let's have a look here now. Well, this isn't looking too bad. If we look at that now. There we go. That's more like it. And there we are, that's the head moving again. So I think we've sorted that. I hope we've sorted that anyway. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. In fact, what I'm just going to do is I'll just get a little bit of that oil that I used before, and I'll just put a little bit just along these. Because there's a bit of corrosion now on the metal on them. That should just help. I mean, obviously we've got a bit of oil in there now, which will help as well, because that should also help lubricate it. But yeah, I'm pleased with that now. That's working, well, moving anyway. So there is a chance that's all that was wrong with these drives. It is a remote chance. I'm still suspecting that I'll probably at the very least have to change them. But mechanically now, let's hopefully hope we can get this back together. I think that goes in there. There we are, that goes in there. He says, realising that he's can't put the drive back together. There we go. I think that sits on top of there like that. Brilliant. Now let's get these screws back in. Just to notice one slight design issue I don't like on these drives, and that's these hinges at the back for the cover. They're just pieces of metal which it bends on like a sprung metal. Now even if it is a sprung metal, I can... oh, sugar. I've dropped a screw. Right, there we are, that's back in. Right, there we are. That's the drive reassembled, and we now have heads that move. Excellent. Put this head back in its place. There we go. Reassemble the analog board. reconnect these connectors, so pin 1 with the little arrow there, make sure it goes in properly. The other connector, the edge connector, this is for the servo motor and the disc motor. That snaps back on there, that's okay, and there we go, that's the drive rebuilt. So I don't think it's going to work yet until I have replaced... Oh, hang on, that's something I have forgotten. Like I said, I don't think it is going to work fully yet until I've replaced them there and possibly even that there. But yeah, that's as far as we've got. So I hope that was useful anyway, to show how to clean up them heads. Right. Right, okay, I hope you found that useful. Anyway, I will get back to this once I've see if I can get the Apple to work again. I'll probably have to burn a ROM and see what I can do about that ROM. I can't use the ROM out of my other Apple because that is definitely dead, unfortunately. So unless I can find a new ROM or I can burn one, this is on hold again. So once I've got the Apple working, I can load ADT Pro up and I can see whether these drives will recognise. If they won't, then I'm going to have to change that IC there. That's the next one in the line, and then I think it's them two. It's that one there is the next one, and then possibly that one, but that one's the least likely to go. Or it could be the other way around. But these two are the most likely to go. That one followed by that one. So I think I'll leave it at that now. So thanks for watching, and goodbye.